Question that the Rabbi Rama Bergel shares about this week's perashat. We learn about the second shidduch that happens in the course of written history. The first one, Chazal teach us in the Midrash, Adam v'Chava, Hashem made the shidduch for them. He's the one that introduced. We don't know how Sarah and Abraham met, but we do know how Yitzchak and Rivka met, and that is Eliezer, Eved Abraham, the slave of Abraham, goes ahead and is given a task to find a shidduch for Yitzchak. Very nice. But the pasuk that speaks about how Avraham is sending Eliezer and instructing him to go find the shidduch, it does not say the name of Eliezer. Avraham el Avdo. Avraham tells his Eved, his slave. Where's the name of Eliezer? Zekan Beto, the one that really has been there for a while in his home. Hamoshel bechol shelo. This Eved had ability and had the ability to control everything in Abraham's. He had jurisdiction over the whole house. Again, it doesn't say his name. And again, it just keeps it very vague, even though you and I know that it's Eliezer. Says Rabbi Rama Bergel, you know why it says Eved, slave, and not Eliezer? Because it also appears that we can learn something very powerful from it. The bitul ha'atzmi, when we are corresponding to Hashem, when we are engaging in tefillah, when we engage in mitzvot, gemilut chasadim, we think about a relationship with Hashem, the greatest level that we can retain is Eved. And what is an Eved? According to our Chachamim, an Eved is not, a slave is not an employee. A slave does what an employee does, but there's something unique about a slave, that it's like their character is not there. When they're looking for the needs of their master, they're completely dissolved within the needs of the master. It's almost like you remember those cartoons or those books, like whatever you say, anything you need, right away. And the perashat, leaving out the name of Eliezer, teaches us what the essence of an Eved is, of a slave is. Whatever you need, don't even say my name. I'm just here for you. And so, of course, we need to have our personality. We all have our names. We all have our needs. We all have our desires. We all have our character. We all have our plans for our future. And Hashem wants us to have that. But within that, if we could leave some space for an Eved, and the more we can leave, maybe the more prepared we are to really think about how I can fill more of my inner self with more of Hashem. The more I do that, the more Eved I am, in a good, positive way. Not that I forget who I am, not that I don't have self-esteem, not that I don't know my qualities, but within those qualities, within the greatness of my personality, I find the essence of being an Eved for Hashem. We'll continue with Moshe Rabbeinu as we're getting into Shabbat. It says in the tefillah that we recite on Shabbat morning, Yismach Moshe b'matanat chelko, that Moshe Rabbeinu is happy in his lot, in his inheritance. What is the matana that he has? There's a couple of pirushim that the Abu Draham brings. A matana is a gift, matanat chelko, the gift that he has retained, maybe in his lot. So first of all, it says, Ki Eved Ne'eman Ka'atolo, because Hashem called Moshe Rabbeinu Eved Ne'eman, a faithful Eved, a faithful slave. And that is the greatest simcha that Moshe could ever have had. We recite it every Shabbat morning. But also, there are two reasons for that. One is that Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the gift of Shabbat. When he gave us the gift of Shabbat, that gave him the biggest happiness, because Hashem says, as the Midrash brings, Hashem says, I have a gift for Am Yisrael. Here's the Torah, here's everything, but you really, really want something special, I see, let me give you something else, right? You're purchasing something, and then they say, let me give you this also. You're a good customer, whatever it is. Hashem says, come, I'll give you the Shabbat. This is going to make your life different. This is going to enhance your life like you can't believe. And that's what made Moshe Samach. But furthermore, that Moshe enabled Am Yisrael when we were still in Egypt, as the Midrash brings, he saw Bnei Yisrael breaking their backs in bondage. So he manipulated Paro to say, listen, if you want good employees, they need a day off so that they could recuperate, so that they could think a little bit, they could have their own life. He says, give them a day off. You'll see that they're going to work 6 days a week better than working 7 full days. So he was able to facilitate the Shabbat for Am Yisrael before we were commanded to keep it, from Paro that never would have dreamed to have given it to Am Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu is also connected to Eved, that he gave everything of his essence to Hashem, and his real simcha is that he was able to generate and to deliver the Shabbat to Am Yisrael. That's why we recited this Shabbat. We should have Dusha, Simcha, and Ta'ara. We should all bring in Shabbat from happiness and joy, And thank you all. Beautiful minyan, and we look forward to a beautiful Shabbat. I'll be away